Hello everyone from the farm. Taking a look at the never-ending saga of dealing with old tractors, old working tractors. This is a Kubota L305 DT, which I've been introducing a variety of different things that I've had to do on this particular tractor this year, which is interesting. Everything from the thermostat to the fuel filter to the ignition switch to oil changes and everything. So today is a little visit has to do with another interesting thing that pops up from time to time, and that has to do with the starter. So this tractor is quite old, but it still works very well. Not really that old, but it's old enough so that when you call the Kubota dealer, a lot of times they don't know what it is, and they have to remember, oh, that's an old tractor. So this is what we recently had to do, replace the starter on this product here. And you can see that this particular starter didn't have any automobiles and things. You used to have the problems with these gears just stripping out, and that was not the case with this. This is where the inside connection points don't function enough to drive this gear assembly forward, push it into the engine itself, and so it free spins. It'll kind of start and run for a little while, crank, so to speak, and then all of a sudden it will just disengage, and you'll hear this motor running. And so that's kind of something that, if you've not experienced this before, you might be going like, this is odd. I'll be cranking this thing and it just engages intermittently, but the rest of the time it sounds like a little motor running, and it is a little motor running. It's just not engaging. So starter's here, and it's a pretty easy procedure to do, as opposed to other types of things. The thing that you do need to know is, before you disengage this thing and take it off and then put another one on, is definitely turn the or unplug the battery. Just undo the battery, because this is a live line that goes into the starter. So you want to make sure that you just disconnect the battery prior to getting into your into this thing. So I mean, it's pretty relatively easy thing. You've got 2 bolts on it on each side, and not any gaskets or anything like that. And you have a couple electrical points, and you just disengage, and it basically drops into your hand. And then you can replace it with a new one, and then connect the batteries up again. But I think the purpose of this, to everyone that might be watching, wondering, what is this odd sound? What's going on? Why does my tractor not start? Some people will think that you don't have enough battery power, and the problem is the actual battery in itself. Because sometimes it's kind of tricky. Sometimes, if you put a charge on your battery and you start to crank this thing, it'll crank for a little while and it'll start, and people say, well, there's no problem with your starter. And then all of a sudden, when you get on there to start the thing again, sure enough, you'll have that problem of the it'll start cranking and then it'll disengage, and you'll have this kind of, again, this machine sound, this clean motor sound going on inside the starter itself. So the other thing I just want to let you know is, believe it or not, replacing a starter on these old tractors, specifically this Kubota, was a relatively easy thing. You just went on Google and you could find these starters from a variety of different price points. And I settled with Amazon And this is the starter that we got, just to let you know. So I was pretty surprised that you could find a variety of different options out there, but I like to go with Amazon because it comes quickly, and then if it doesn't work or it's the wrong size, whatever, you can return it. So I just want to let you know. And the price point, believe it or not, for these particular starters are really not much. They can be around between $100 and $200, and so that's a nice thing to know when you're dealing with the tractors, because a lot of times parts can be expensive. So I hope that helps, and helps make your day easier when you're dealing with trying to start this thing, and then you have this intermittent starting problem. And I think a lot of people think that when your starter goes, a lot of lay people like me, for instance, would think you'd hear a grinding noise because the gears might be worn down at this particular point, and it's grinding on. But that's usually not the case, and that was not the case in this. Usually it's the internals that are kind of worn down on the inside. And you can get these things rebuilt, and we're going to do it. I don't know if it's really worth doing it, but because it's not, it's still a charge or a cost, opportunity cost to take these things down and, get them rebuilt. And what do? You put them in, and the likelihood of a starter actually going out again in your lifetime, much less the tractor's lifetime, might not be really worth it. But we're going to do it anyway. So you can get these things rebuilt, but the main points to this thing is identifying that this is what the problem is, that the price of a starter is not bad, and you can order them from a variety of different places. I happen to use Amazon and had no problem. Hope this helps. Thank you.